I don't know if I've done this. Oh, I guess I've done it. I don't know.
Hey!
What's up, Facebook? I don't know. Where are we? Where exactly on the moon are we, Jason?
Are we on Hoth?
Yeah, I
It
think
got
so.
cold. Maybe we're on Hoth.
How come I still hear the music? I don't, do y'all hear the music? Ah, okay. Nope.
That's coming from your live stream.
Oh. Jesus.
One day we will accomplish doing this without any technical malfunctions.
How do I unmute? What the hell? There we go. All right. Maybe so. This might possibly be our last episode. We don't know yet.
Hey, can we cut this part out in post?
Yes. We'll edit it in post. Yeah, that'd be good. This segment brought to you by Hideaway Pizza.
My shenanigans.
Yes. All right. What's up?
Yeah, what's up this week?
Time out. Okay, I do have some Star Wars news. Well, I don't know what you want to talk about, but what I want to talk about is after a long delay, Wedge Antilles is coming back to the Star Wars, either big screen, little screen. But Wedge Antilles will make a reappearance. Kind of exciting. Yep, and apparently he's in one of the new novels, and the actor that played Wedge in Empire and Jedi and Star Wars has agreed to come back. So we don't. Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, almost all the original cast members are still alive,
Except for
bless Carrie's heart.
Frank Oz? I don't remember. Well, and then, Chewbacca and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow, Peter Cushing.
We're Star Wars fans.
Yeah, that's why we're called the Nerf Herders. So Kenny Baker. He was... Okay. Yeah, Frank Oz was Yoda. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah,
Anywho, welcome to the Nerf Herders podcast, where we talk about sometimes Star Wars, most of the time other stuff, and a little bit of scattering here and there. So, if this is your first time viewing us, we'd like to say welcome to our new members. If you've never seen us, okay, Colin. Thank you, Colin.
We appreciate that.
So, anywho, yeah, what's going on, Jason? What do you want to talk about? And who would that be? Oh, Spider-Man's back. Yeah, we probably should have talked about that last week. I think this is somewhat old news, but definitely, Mom and Dad found a happy medium. The divorce is, I guess Peter's going to spend Christmas with Mom and New Year's with Dad. Who knows how that's all going to work out, but definitely cooler heads prevailed, and they realized that they're both stupid if they let this thing fall apart, because Tom Holland plays a great Spider-Man.
He really does.
Oh, looky there.
Everyone's confirmed.
Yeah.
Is that Tom called Marvel and Sony CEOs like, dude, work it out.
Yeah, really.
And he kept hounding them until they worked it out.
Oh, that's good. I think if you look at the Spider-Mans in the history of the Spider-Mans on the big screen, I obviously think he's the best. Tobey Maguire, for what the movies were back when he came out, I always thought the second one, I forgot what that movie was called, Spider-Man 2. I thought that was probably his best of all the Tobey Maguire films, but I think that's Alfred Molina was a great villain. The guy from the Facebook movie, Andrew Garfield, I didn't really feel a connection with his story, but I think Tom Holland nails the young Peter Parker. I think he's great. Out of costume. Really carries the story of this high school kid, kind of goofball kid that any old school comic book readers knew what Peter Parker was all about. I think he really embodies that. So I'm glad that they figured this thing out.
Yep. I didn't have a problem with Garfield's character. Yeah.
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 Anyway, yeah, that's
Best
cool.
line of the movie is, after we finish this up, we're going to talk about you and my aunt. Jumps off plane.
I mean, I'd be curious if this does bring back the, I guess the original plans were the Sinister Six. You got the Vulture, Scorpion at the end of the Spider-Man film. So are they gonna do a Sinister Six story? The other rumor I had possibly heard is they want to kind of incorporate the old Daredevil series from Netflix onto the big screens, and one of the rumors is Vincent D'Onofrio to come over to the big screen and play Kingpin. And I thought he was amazing. That he was what made Daredevil season 1 good.
Yes,
was Kingpin, and I would love to see him in the big screen.
Yeah, and for those listening, sorry, I didn't unmute myself, so the entire 7 minutes, whatever we've been talking, I've been talking just to you guys, and nobody could hear me. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I've got to get this figured out where I can hit one button again. I had it set up and I turned it off for some reason.
Well, for those of you new to the show, we like to point out that this is the production office of the week, Yahtzee, that we play here at Nerf Herder Radio.
It is production Russian roulette, so it never fails.
Are we going to go through Skype this week? Are we going to try Teams? Are we going to do Slack? Let's do Discord.
Hey, is Google Group still a thing? We want to try that next week.
Why don't we try it on Tinder? I don't know if that works or not, but hey.
Hey, Discord's working really good because you know what I can do easily is I can mute you both right now and put you in the penalty box.
Well,
no.
And we'll see how good the show goes at that point. So. Anyway, we like to have fun here at Nerf Herder Radio. So yeah, Spider-Man back in the MCU. We'll see where that goes.
Yep. So, Carly, you had some news around, just kind of covering our news that anybody can read about, but some news about Han Solo, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was an article I read and got this covered that LucasArts admitted they made a mistake with the Solo film. The tagline was they made a mistake, but then you read in the story and they realized that people weren't ready for 2 Star Wars movies a year. They felt like they rushed the story. I may be in the minority here when I say I really enjoyed Han Solo. It's a heist film. It has all the key elements of a heist film. Yeah, I mean it's not a bad movie. I just think either it followed Episode 8, which everybody hated, and so you're just walking out of there still with a head scratcher. But for what Howard had to work with, I thought the movie was great.
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Age before beauty.
I was going to say, I think it deserves a second shot, whether that's another movie or if they're going to do a show on the Disney service. I think Alden Ehrenreich did a great job. I don't think he, big shoes to fill for filling in for Han Solo, but I think he did better than Shia LaBeouf would have done. So
yeah, I think Donald Glover as Lando was a perfect fit for young Lando. I really loved that.
Yeah.
I did not dislike the movie. I didn't like the movie necessarily. I don't know. I didn't like the Harrison Ford just holds a really special place for me for the Han Solo character.
Sure.
And, and I know that he's supposed to be younger in this, and he's supposed to be a little more obnoxious, dopey, because he's not as
wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, wet behind the ears.
And I don't know. There's just something about it that I did not like that chemistry between Chewie and him and stuff, but it kind of grew on me. Overall, the movie wasn't bad. There was some stuff about it I didn't like, but I can get past it. I really wish I knew where they were going with spoiler alert at the very end with Darth Maul showing up. Where that was going to go.
Seen the show by now, the movie. It's been out for over a year.
I still want to give that courteous
warning. It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
So
for now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely think he's worth another shot. Like I said, if it's going to be in a Disney show, if they may throw it into another movie, I think
I
Han
hope
Solo
they
is
do
one
a
of those.
second movie.
Yeah, I do too. I think Han Solo is
He
one of those
just got
characters.
the Falcon.
Yeah.
He just finished the Kessel Run. You know, he just accomplished, you know, two of the big highlights of his smuggling career.
Yeah.
The only thing I hated
It's
was
all
they
downhill from
never
here,
mentioned L3 in the earlier movies, which take place later. But you know, L3 gets integrated in with the Falcon, and Edgar also enjoyed Solo, and Colin agreed with us on Donald Glover as well. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
Well, you know,
there's this continuity stuff. I just kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I can get past it.
Well, you know, Han didn't really deal with patching in L3 into the Falcon, and L3 being patched in the Falcon explains, to a degree, why the Falcon is so fickle at times to work and not work,
Yeah.
and why Han has to smash the console to make things work sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not that the ship is broken; it's that it's
Just
being
moody.
Yep,
Yeah.
L3 is being moody today.
Yeah. And I think that is cool when you think about it, because I never thought of that, you know. But you're right, L3 was very much like, no, I'm not doing it, and then be like, fine,
Yep.
whatever, I'll do it. And so Han has to be that way with the Falcon a lot of times, which is cool. The character and the spirit of the droid
And think about
moved in.
3PO's character. Where did your ship learn the Falcon has the most interesting dialect?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, that's why.
So, yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I think we all kind of in agreement, either another film or at least a show. I mean, Lord knows what sort of shows they've got planned for Disney service. We know they got the Cassian Andor show, the Obi-Wan show, starting off with the Mandalorian in November. So,
Yeah. Well, I think
exciting
it's just a matter. We'll see what happens with it. You know, I think
Are you
it's worth
guys going to
giving
pick up
it
the
another
Disney
shot.
Plus service?
Oh yeah,
Probably, yeah. So,
yeah.
which kind of brings us into our next topic. If we want to jump into that one, since we kind of covered all the news, really.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of cutting the cord.
That's kind of what our talking point was going to be. We've brought this up a dozen times, and so for those of you who haven't ever listened in before and you're a first time listener, we've brought this up several times, and it's evolved over time too, because as we talk about it, Disney gets announced or somebody else changes their streaming platform or whatever else, and you know the screen doesn't even show half of all the different services that
Yeah,
are
you're
out there.
missing Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, you find a graphic when you type streaming services 2019. It's either Disney Plus by itself or everything else, and so I went with everything else. But I'm only one man, and I only have so much time in the day to produce this and get all this ready.
Yeah, and beta test a new streaming platform.
Yeah, I did that too a little bit. So anyway, you know, this is an interesting one because I know Carter, you have a story we've talked about a little bit with your family on
Yeah.
it, and I've got one
So-
too with my side too. We can jump into with this.
So my dad reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and he's asking me, you know, the simple dad questions: what's a Hulu? What's a Roku? You know, how do I get the ESPN Plus and all this stuff? And he goes to lunch with kind of a men's group, and they're all 70-plus-year-old men, and he's like, none of them understand any of this technology. None of them understand the lingo. So I did some research and kind of identified the top premium services or top subscription services. So like Hulu Plus, Live TV, or YouTube TV, then Sling. And then looking at a lot of the add-on services like Netflix, Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, you know, CBS All Access, you know, and NBC's launching their own service in the spring, and so a lot of the NBC content is being pulled off Netflix. I think Friends is leaving Netflix.
Yep.
Yep.
What's they're going to start a new
Office.
they're
Office
gonna,
got bought by HBO, so did Big Bang. They bought the rights to it, so it's going to their streaming platform.
but they're going to start a new Office apparently on the NBC show. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, it's something.
Yeah, they're supposed to try to reboot it, or
Yeah.
And that's one.
I think it's a great
That's kind of taken on TV sacred ground to me because The Office is. I feel like.
Well, it's already a remake of a BBC show.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm saying is when I think of The Office, I think of my generation or maybe y'all's generation. It's like our version of Cheers.
Yeah,
You know,
we're all the
it's-
same generation.
Yeah, well,
We're all millennials.
I'm not.
No, Brandon,
Shut up, Carter.
you two aren't. I don't think.
I'm Generation X, baby.
Yeah.
Proud to be the generation that invented rollerblades.
If you wanted to gauge us by height, Carter's the oldest, then I'm the youngest. Is how we're stacked up here. But anyway, digressing.
But
there's a lot with that. Colin's he's cut the cord. He uses Hulu with live TV, no commercials. That's kind of his cord cutting service. But keep going with what you were talking about. Sorry.
So we looked at all these services, and then trying to explain to these guys the evolution of television. So back when they were kids, before a lot of them didn't even have TVs growing up, but the TV was the central place in the living room where everyone got together and watched Andy Griffith or Mayberry or whatever. And then it evolved into cable TV, and then you started adding on DVD players and VCRs and DVRs and all that to where we are now, which is basically TV anywhere. And so it's trying to explain to these guys that the means of consumption is completely changed now to where anybody's watching content on a multitude of devices, whether that's as small as a cell phone or TV. And so, at the end of the day, a lot of them were asking me, it's like, well, do I need to do anything? And ultimately I said, it's up to you. If you have a system that works, if you're happy with, your cable service or DirecTV or whatever, and the DVR and all that, and it's a simpler model to stay with that. If that's how they consume content, then stay with what they're at. I'd said it's probably not going to force an evolutionary chain in the next 20 years, but I think after that, it's definitely going to force those providers to adapt or die to where they become more mobile. So, DirecTV and Dish Network and Time Warner and, all those other cable companies are going to have to get past this model of the box in the living room and now pay a subscription-based service. And I think you're starting to see that with Dish Now or Dish Go or whatever they call it, or DirecTV Now and all that. So, there's a difference between cost and value when you start looking at all this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And what's the cost to you if it's simple and you can enjoy where you want, you're not a on the goer, you're not a traveler. Cable's perfect. But if you're a road warrior, you may want the flexibility of mobile here, mobile now. So, that's really what it comes down to is what do you value and where do you want to watch your entertainment?
Yep. I think there's another piece to it too. Brandon and I's mom, our mother, can't even talk. She's retired and she pays like $270 a month for home phone, cell phone, internet, and TV through one provider. Mm-hmm. And she's retired, so she's trying to cut back, obviously, from an expense standpoint. And so she's like, well, what if I just get internet? I switched my cell phone over to like one of those Straight Talk plans from Walmart where I just pay $50 a month for self-service and unlimited text and phone calls, and pay for a couple streaming services. And then what? And the question really becomes too is when are you saving money versus breaking even? And then also, are you going to get penalized by your ISP for just streaming, whereas you don't have any of the other services? Like AT&T, for example, if you have cell phone, internet, and like home phone from them, you have no cap on. You have unlimited bandwidth with them. The provider I have, Spectrum, there is no cap, so I don't have to worry about that. And just doing some.
I have a terabyte.
And you've got like a terabyte. Yeah, and Xfinity's got their own caps and stuff. And so I question where does it break even at, because just looking at it, my internet service is just $69.99 a month, and then you have Amazon Prime if you want to watch that. It's like $119 a year, so like $10 a month when you average it out. Disney Plus is going to be like $14.99, right?
I thought it was
$12.99 if you want Disney, ESPN, and Hulu.
Yeah, so $12.99 or whatever. And so you're if you go with a Netflix plan or something like that, you're right at about $100.
Yep.
And throw a $50, $60 cell phone bill is $160. So you come out still saving $100. The only problem you run into is now, instead of me just going to one app for everything or one GUI, I've got Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN, Amazon, and a lot of times it gets so fragmented. It's like, you know, you're trying to do one of these numbers and you can't, and you don't know where up is down and left is right. But I will say what's cool is the Roku players have a built-in thing so you can hit search, and it searches across all the different meta services to try to find you the movie you're wanting to watch if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So
Xfinity actually has their little smart boxes. They actually do that too. I can search for a movie I want to, and it checks any platform I've connected it to. And I've got it connected to my Prime, Netflix, and my Hulu account. So it'll search all of them, and when Ollie wants to watch, that's my son, Lego Batman, it finds it somewhere so we can watch Lego Batman.
Yeah, and the other thing about the we'll call them the subscription-based services, the Hulu Live TV, Sling, and YouTube, is it's incredibly volatile.
Yeah.
You know, there's the channel lineup is subject to change because there was as I was doing the research, Sling I think severed ties with like FX and Fox Sports.
yeah, they're all kind of competing with each other now, so they all have their stuff everywhere. It's annoying and it's overbearing because it's like the satellite service, because at some point you're going to end up we're in negotiations, so call your provider today to save Channel 5 local news station on our provider or whatever else. So
yeah,
I remember those days.
Yeah, so it's I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to get to this
the only benefit I
distributed service, and you're gonna CBS, ABC, NBC are all gonna have app-based services, and then maybe it's gonna finally provide that a la carte billing option everybody wants. I mean, unfortunately, the losers in this deal are going to be a lot of those channels that are subsidized on cable and dish satellite television. But if they were that compelling, people would pay the money to watch it, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's all about the service, and that kind of goes into one of the things I think I posted about it. But there's been a lot of different movies announced, trailers announced last week, and Birds of Prey was announced, which I'm on the fence about because of the Suicide Squad. But
did anybody see Joker?
I have not seen Joker yet. I want to see it.
Okay.
Anybody watching? Have you guys seen Joker? Kind of go ahead and drop a line. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you've seen that, because I've heard it's amazing and I want to see it. But
yeah, obviously the critics' concern of things shooting up didn't happen.
Where did that come from? Okay, but you had Batman versus Superman. You had
What it came down to was it was in Denver. That dude dyed his hair. Aurora did the shooting of the theater during Dark Knight, and so there were people apparently on Reddit or somewhere making claims about the same thing with this movie, and talking about the gun violence. And I think this is funny. This goes back to something my wife listens to. She's an influencer or whatever on Instagram named Melissa Radke. She went and I overheard her listening to this. She was talking about it. Everybody kept talking about the gun violence in it, and she goes, there's not that much gun violence in it. It's dark and messed up from a psychological standpoint, and there's a lot of other factors here, but the gun violence, she goes, you can go watch any Michael Bay movie or anything else out there. There's way more gun violence in it. And so a lot of it is, I think, it's everybody just kind of linchpinning and targeting that because it's easier and it's that thing. But
well, I think there's a small group of people who basically say, we don't want to empathize or even sympathize with the Joker.
Yeah,
that's the real problem. Is that what this movie really does is makes people empathize and sympathize with the Joker.
Yeah,
and he's literally a psychopath, sociopath. He's not the guy you're supposed to sympathize for. You're not supposed to feel bad for this guy of why he went down the crazy rabbit hole he fell into.
I think I 100%. Well, I 100% agree with we shouldn't idolize anybody in that sense, fake or real. But at the same time, there is a shocking and sad truth to sometimes what brings people to those brinks in real life. It's not like they just wake up that way. It's either there's a imbalance from birth, or there's neglect, abuse, so on, so forth, that pushes people to those brinks, or they just have something that happens so traumatic in their life they snap. But I think there is a point we should feel pity for those people, but at the same time we shouldn't idolize them. At the end of the day, it's a movie, and I think that's the other thing too, is we got to look at this is a movie. It's a way for us to watch something that escapes us from reality. And I have virus threat protection warning. We'll figure that out later.
Uh-oh. you're being hacked.
Probably.
Birds of Prey. We talked. You made your comment. Why are you not excited about that? I mean, did you not like Suicide Squad? And
I did not like
Suicide.
Suicide Squad was terrible. I did not like anything about it. I think Margot Robbie did a good job playing as Harley Quinn. I just thought all the other acting was horrible in the movie. They introduced a bunch of characters. 40% of them or so die. The dude who played...
That's in the name.
Anyway. That's not what they're...
It's like being mad people die at the end of Rogue One. Hello?
Well, that's different. And we all knew that was coming. But...
Their names...
But the Diablo guy, I thought he was awesome. I don't think he's in this one at all. And of course, this is the Birds of Prey, and it's about the women villain, I think, and you know they're kind of the anti-hero.
Black Canary and Katana,
Hunter, and Huntress or whatever.
Huntress, yeah.
So
Artemis, maybe.
We'll see.
I think it looks good.
I'm gonna go in with low expectations.
I think it's too early to make a call. We've seen the teaser.
Yeah,
that's all that even is. It's not even the full trailer. It's not trailer 1. This is just a teaser trailer for what's going to happen in Birds of Prey. It's just to whet your appetite.
Sure. Yeah.
So from it looks like it might be cool. It looks like it might be more action packed. I'm worried about the problem with Suicide Squad was we really hyped up a lot of like the Joker's role in this, and then they cut a lot of Jared Leto's role.
Mm-hmm. He didn't do a good job as a Joker, though. I didn't like him as a Joker.
Well, if you go look it up, there's actually several articles that talk about where they asked him about it, and he said he was unhappy with it because
apparently there's like pretty much a whole other movie's worth of shots.
There's a whole. Yeah. He's like, what they showed you and what I did are two entirely different things, and the narrative would have been very different if they hadn't cut a lot of these scenes out.
Yeah,
but they chose to take it a different route and really make it more about Harley and Margot Robbie's character than the Joker's.
Yeah.
And
that could be too. I mean, we've seen that several times where we have a great movie that's been filmed and written and executed, but when it goes into post for editing, what made it great gets cut. We've seen that several times. I mean, there's tons of DC. It's all over DC's footprint.
Or editing to tear something up. I think editing kind of messed up The Last Jedi, and that's why a lot of people didn't like a lot of it. I think there's a lot.
That was just a bad movie.
Well, it was. No, I can't think of names. Who directed The Last Jedi? Abrams did The Force Awakens.
Ryan Johnson.
Right. Daisy Ridley and I can't think now. Ray and Finn came out and said that Abrams had a whole storyboard, a whole storyline for what's going to happen. Here are these characters. Here are their full motivations. Here's what we've shown them in the first movie. Here's what you show them in the second movie. And here's how the third movie will portray it in the end.
Yeah.
Dude came in, and the second director went, I don't like any of that.
Yeah.
And then they made a whole... Then he basically tried to rewrite their backstories after we've established a backstory. And that's what made Last Jedi not as good as Force Awakens. And that's part of the reason they went back to Abrams and went, okay, dude, fix it.
Yep.
You're the fixer. Come fix it.
Yeah.
And that's why he came back to the last movie. Don't think it's because, well, it's probably just because they threw him a
boatload of cash. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So... But anyway, kind of getting back onto the streaming thing, I've noticed. I think it's interesting as I'm starting to see Netflix and some of the other services kind of up their game. Netflix secured that Michael Bay movie 6 Underground. It looks really, really good. It's got Ryan Reynolds in it, so I'm already gonna like it.
They're doing that Witcher series. I just think will be
the Witcher
if
series.
They do it right, will be really cool.
Yep.
And might be a new Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Amazon's. Yeah, and Amazon's trying to pull a Game of Thrones by doing the Lord of the Rings series. They've also got Jack Ryan, another great one I watched.
Goliath is really good on there.
I've started watching Goliath too.
And The Expanse, they moved Amazon. Jeff Bezos bought that when Sci-Fi canceled it, so I'm excited about that show.
Yeah, it's not even. I can't even compare it to Battlestar or Star Wars, Star Trek as far as a sci-fi space movie, and even Firefly is not an accurate comparison to it, but The Expanse is great if you check it out.
Yeah.
It's worth a look at. And Netflix has got Stranger Things that they're going to do another season of.
Yeah,
We're
they
leaving
just announced
Hawkins
that
now.
Yeah, they did that teaser for it. I'm wondering if
and this what the last season.
I think it is going to be the last season.
I think it's last season. Yeah.
They'll have to throw a lot of money at everybody to get them back, and I don't know if it's going to.
I don't.
But Netflix is going to watch. Well, here's the thing: if they do another season, it's going to have to be pretty spectacular, and just like Game of Thrones, they're going to have to throw so much money at it that it's going to be not profitable for Netflix, and they'll rush it to get it done and shut down quick.
Yeah, especially with The Witcher and other things there, because Netflix is really having to spin up their own IPOs now.
Yeah,
because they're losing so much content to everybody else.
Yep. I mean, Mindhunter's great. Kelly's been watching that, and then there's another one called Unbelievable that she just watched. And she told me about that. I was going to try to watch with her, but kind of bringing my wife up real quick. She pointed out to me a new streaming service she saw today. It's called like Qubo or Quizbee or Quizbo or so I don't know what it's called. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, Thor's brother. What's his name?
Loki.
No, real life actor's brother, not the
Liam Hemsworth.
Yes,
Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth and Christopher Walken have signed on with this new streaming platform to do a series.
Amazing.
It's going to be interesting, but their concept is it's mobile only, so they will not be on TV in any format, and each episode is only 10 minutes.
Okay, now it sounds weird, but that sounds like something Walken would do.
But I thought it was very interesting because as soon as she said that, I was like, well, that kind of makes sense in a lot of ways because of people's attention spans they're starting to see from a social media standpoint. They're shrinking, and so shorter episodes.
Instant access, instant information, and walk away.
So I thought that was kind of cool. And then, there's other ones too. There's one I like
Quibi.
to watch.
Quibi.
Yeah, that's what it was. Quijibo.
It's like a longer TikTok.
Yeah.
10-minute TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Good Lord. So, it's like Quijibo. Come on, y'all got another Simpsons reference there. Big, dumb ape animal talking about Homer? No? Oh.
No.
It's like one of the first episodes. That's so sad.
I quit watching
I'm sorry, we're going back to
90s.
1983.
Hey. No, that wasn't 83. It was the 90s. 89, 90s. Do the Bartman. Get your hand on Butterfinger.
And Simpsons made fun of themselves. That is so 1998.
Yes. So, but...
Anyway, we'll always talk about the streaming services and all that as they kind of evolve. So it's one of the topics we like to talk about. We're running up on time. One last thing I wanted to kind of bring up is Microsoft had a big announcement last week. They re-released their Surface line, and we do like to talk about a little tech on the show. And so a lot of the new form factors. And the other one is they released an Android-powered phone.
Yeah, they're getting back in the phone game.
So I'm just, curious to see how that all works out. I mean, my whole thing is, are they going to roll this thing out and then cut support for it, shortly
like
thereafter?
They did their Windows phones?
Yeah. So it's a cool looking device. I like
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it definitely looks cool.
I think that they figured out the way to maybe we'll see once the product launches, but so far nobody's launched a hinge device. And
Samsung launched one, right? But then they pulled it.
Yeah, because the screens kept breaking. People were folding their phones more than they anticipated, I guess, is what I understood.
Okay.
But if you look with theirs, there is a clear separation between the two screens. On both the Duo, which is the phone, and then they have the Neo, which is running a different Windows OS, which is pretty cool from that announcement. I'm on the fence. By the time this thing launches, I'll be probably ready for an upgrade. I like the concept. Is it functional and practical for me? I don't know. I do like how we've entered, and I've talked about this before, I think, but we've entered this era of tech where it's getting weird. And if you remember, like in the early 2000s, things were changing where you had the goofy Nokia phones, the Sidekick, and all that stuff. And, it got weird, and we're kind of getting back into that. We're having foldable phones and stuff like that's not necessarily really practical for your everyday user, but it could be, down the road, somebody figures out how to make these things more functional for everybody.
Well, I'm curious if they're trying with all the weird stuff again, trying to appeal to the younger kids, get them something different. Everyone's got an iPhone, so they're not that special anymore. Even the new ones are the latest Note. Everyone's got the same kind of doohickeys. Look at mine. Mine folds in half. Look at how cool it is. Look at something different it does.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're fishing for that kind of an idea where, grab the kids.
I mean, my only thing is
kids, you hold them forever.
My only thing is a lot of people now are pretty set in their ecosystems. I mean, I don't plan on moving from iPhone to Android anytime soon. I mean, if you're a lifer Android, then you're probably excited about this. If you're an iPhone user, you probably are like, meh. I mean, if I need to buy a new laptop or I don't want to buy a MacBook, I guess I can go buy this thing. But, if my whole family's on iPhones, I'm going to miss out on iMessage and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
you'll be the green box, not the blue box.
Right. I just don't know if you're going to see a massive shift other than, just people going from Samsung to, to a Microsoft device.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I know
it's an Android device, so at the end of the day, it's just the Android OS. How it gets managed and some of those things I'm curious about. But at end of the day, it is an Android device. So that's why they're not going with the Windows ecosystem OS. It seems like.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't know. The foldable phones I still yet to see a lot of practical use in. This thing looks kind of cool. We'll see what happens.
And that's about all it has going for it right now.
There's no details. It's not coming out till 2020 holiday season.
Well, that's perfect timing to wet the whistle of all the app developers and accessory developers. Say, hey, you got a year to start getting lined up for this and add the form factor into their app portfolio and stuff like that. So
figure out how to put a case on that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
OtterBox. Can you put an OtterBox on that? I wonder if it was so close.
They'll figure out a way.
You'll snap the hinge, put it in an OtterBox.
Yeah.
It'll probably weigh 9 pounds with an OtterBox case on it. My last phone did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows?
I mean, a couple comments in the comment section. Chad said the ecosystem killed Windows Mobile. Absolutely that. And I think what killed the Windows ecosystem is Google wouldn't allow YouTube on Windows phones. And the app development was also horrible. You couldn't pay Snapchat and WhatsApp and all these app developers enough money to develop on the platform.
Yeah. Colin brings up a good point, too.
Yeah, and I agree with Colin.
Yeah, so the international market is a lot, more demanding, and it'll tell them those things, And I mean, it might blow up in internationally in the U.S. It might be a dud, which they'd be okay with. I'm curious because I know, I don't know. I'm just really curious about this and the Neo, where they're going to actually fit in from a functional, practical use. It's very intriguing to me.
Right, and the other thing is Samsung keeps on teasing their own proprietary operating system, kind of moving away from the Android platform. Who knows? Maybe we'll get back into multi-system again, but obviously I don't think Microsoft is going to get back into that game. They'd rather sell you on Office and Teams or whatever communication mechanism Jason wants to use next week for our podcast.
We'll see. I'm really curious.
Two cans in a string.
We're gonna go back to Office communication. What is it? OCS? What was it?
Office Communicator.
Yeah,
we're gonna go to AIM, and we're gonna go back to AIM.
AIM
and MSN.
No.
Sweet. Well, if you don't have Trillion, download it next week and tune in for another episode of Nerf Herder Radio.
Shut up. So, I think you brought up a good point. If Samsung is gonna break away from Android, I wonder, how that would work, because a lot of times, you can access Facebook from a browser. Yes, there's a more rich experience on the app, but I'm wondering if as the web experience gets much more robust, if we'll ever break away from app stores and we'll go back to just having browser tabs and having the icon for the browser as your shortcut on your phone and getting to that experience with mobile.
I've started to do that on my desktop. My PC, I've got, instead of downloading apps for a lot of the services I use, like Discord or, Plex or some of the others, I've pinned the website links down on my taskbar.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are doing that now because it's just more, for some reason, it just works. It's less storage and then faster loads or something. I've heard all sorts of stuff and read articles about it. It may not be faster loads, but better, I don't know, richer experience, whatever.
And tabular browsing has kind of led into that sort of becoming more mainstream. So
yep. So
well, very cool, guys.
You want to talk about your tip of the week there, Carter?
Yeah, sure. So
let me throw it up on the screen.
Okay.
All right,
I was doing some research, and I play video games. I'm a novice video game player / amateur tattoo artist. And so I was looking for ways. So there's a service called a lot of gamers know about OBS and things like that. And so I was looking at, hold on a second.
Check your TCP IP settings. Quit people.
Yeah, I was looking for ways that, OBS is this broadcaster. I forgot what open broadcaster system, I guess, but it creates those overlays. So when you go watch these professional gamers, has like their name and their sponsors.
Or us. Hey, we use it too.
Yeah, or us, like our podcast is being hosted that. But a way to integrate that with Xbox on Mixer, and I came across Lightstream. And Lightstream basically is an intermediary between your Xbox console and broadcasting everything up to Mixer, where it adds those custom overlays, and you can do it for a multitude of reasons. So I found that, and I think that's one thing. I think the console gamers have a great advantage, because if you could leverage that sort of service instead of a streaming PC or spending $2,000 on a hardware system to do this, all you got to do is basically have a pro subscription on Mixer. And I don't know if Twitch has supported it yet, or I know YouTube gaming is on there and Facebook's on there, so you can stream directly to your Facebook channels. So I just thought it was really cool for any gamers out there that are wanting to get into that overlay business, or want a way to kind of make their page stand out. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I played around with it a little bit because I thought, man, this would be really easy because I could set this up and you could log into it and stream if I'm lying dead in a ditch or just want to take a night off. But it doesn't work for that. It is very simple. It's very intuitive at the same time. It's really meant for, hey, I'm running a console like you were saying, or I want to stream something, but I don't have either the graphics, the whatever to make it all integrate easily, and it does it for you through my browser. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
Not for sure.
Yep.
So any gamers out there that are looking to add some flash to your streams, I would check out Lightstream.
Yep.
And use promo code Nerdfurter Radio for
no, do not use promo code. We do not have a promo code. Please do not do that. So
for absolutely no benefit whatsoever.
Yeah. So my tip of the week is, and I think I've talked about this before, and I may have brought this one up, but it's Humble Bundle. So it's kind of it's a website you go to, you pay like $12 a month, $12.99 plus tax for a month. And in each month it's kind of like a loot crate. So you get packaged games together in this, and usually you get one AAA title each month, and it's like 8 games, and so it's always worth over $100 in games. And the cool thing here is I signed up for it because there was a couple of games I thought were kind of cool that I wanted to get and try it out. But the thing that really intrigued me, I thought was sweet about it, is they donate to a different charity. So every month when you pay, some of the proceeds go to a different charity, and there's like 6 or 7 of them, so they kind of cycle through. But I thought that was kind of cool because, one, I'm getting something at a lower price, and I'm doing something, kind of giving to a charity. Wonder if I could write it off of my taxes. Just kidding. But, if you're starting out playing PC games, things like that, I always think it's kind of cool because you can sign up for some of these services like Game Pass or Uplay, and some of these just really cheap, and you don't have to go sit there and drop the $60 price tag on the games, and you get all the games in their catalogs or a dump of games each month, and it gives you something to play, and you're not having to break the bank on these $60 games like Wildlands, Destiny 2, and all that.
Cool.
Yep.
Sorry.
Anybody play Destiny 2 since it rolled over to Steam?
I tried.
Oh man, it is gorgeous on PC.
Yeah, I downloaded it and I played it a little bit.
Butter.
It looks amazing on PC, like Carter's saying. I have to have a controller though because the keypad controls are terrible for me on PC for it. But it's pretty cool.
That's the only way I can play anymore.
So I mean, you should download it, man. You can get, what is it? It's called New Light. Carter, you know the details better than me. I'll let you.
Yeah. So New Light is free on stream, and what that gives you is basically Destiny 2 Year 1 content, the vanilla campaign, the Warmind DLC, and Curse of Osiris DLC. You get all that for free. If you want the Forsaken content, which came out a year ago now, or Shadowkeep, which just came out, those are additive. But apparently you don't have to buy. If you want to go skip Forsaken and go straight to Shadowkeep, you can just buy that. I think it's like $40.
Yeah,
cool. to get
the whole
up to
thing's
that.
like, it's like a $59.99 to get everything.
Yeah,
but I mean, you get, what is it, 3 years worth of content for free.
Yeah, and
So,
you
pretty
start
good deal.
out when you start the game, you start out at 750 power, which is
Instead
the
of like
equivalent,
1.
which is the equivalent of starting at 0, so you don't have that whole learning tree or leveling process you got to go through. But no, man, on PC it is beautiful. So I'm with Jason. I wish the controllers were. I mean, if you played on mouse and keyboard all your life, then you probably have no problem and think these old guys don't know what the heck they're talking about. But I tried and I was like, how do I melee? How do I throw grenades? Forget this. Plug in my
I'm running
controller.
into issues where my
and
wrist
after
is
it.
starting to hurt from carpal tunnel, I think. So I'm having to get a different mouse pad for that. But
Generic and appropriate comment there.
can't take y'all anywhere. So Edgar agrees. It plays amazing and it's awesome. So
Yeah.
I've been busy playing Breakpoint still, so I've been pretty enamored with that and haven't broken away from that. Which, I've actually enjoyed it. I actually, luckily there's been a good community of people who you can just jump in with them and say, hey, looking to play casual, or I'm trying to do this tactical, and they respect that wish when they join you. Or if it's like, look, I'm just looking to do whatever, you can get in with a group of people, and Leroy Jenkins everything. It's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but that's all I got to say about that.
All right. Well, I think we went a little long tonight, but that's okay. We were rolling, had a good show. So we appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. If you've been with us for a long time, we're glad to be back on Facebook. We tried going live on Mixer, and that failed. Like Porkins and the Death Star run, we couldn't stay on target.
No.
So glad to be back on Facebook. Looks like we had a lot of good interaction tonight, so we always appreciate crowd participation. You guys make the show fun. Otherwise, it's just me, Jason, and Brandon talking to each other. That's not exciting. Make sure you stay tuned for other content. We're going to do the Midlife Crisis Matinee. We're going to release that on Instagram. So make sure you follow us on Instagram or follow us here on Facebook. We do have a Twitter account, but I couldn't tell you I don't know the password anymore.
It's Nerf Herder Radio or Nerf Herder's podcast. I forget.
Yeah, don't
really
follow
use
us on Twitter.
I mean, if you want to, sure, but you're not going to see as much news. I am going to. DirecTV did not sign me up, or not sign up. Dish did not choose me to do their Halloween movie reviews, so I'm going to go through and do the thing they had where it's like you watch all these Stephen King movies and log all of it. And I'm going to try to post it on Instagram so everybody can get my review of the Stephen King movies. I'm a horror person. We're in Halloween, so why not? YOLO.
Yeah, so make sure you follow us over on Instagram at Nerf Herder Radio. So
yeah.
Without any other things else to talk about, I think we've kind of come to the end of this show.
Yeah.
So we look forward to talking to you guys next week. And as they say in the Star Wars universe, may the Force be with you.
Always.